That's an interesting soundbite. But if you look at it, there's this policy, made in Nigeria policy, that is also coming to the fore. Perhaps if you say that people now lost, I think they lost the taste for made in Nigeria goods and even food, how can we bring this back into our homes and lifestyles?
Okay, don't forget the role Gowon played in the 70s, the Udoji Award. We have to go back and trace it. It didn't just start today. And when the Udoji Award happened, people had money. We have not recovered from that policy. People had money. People that could not afford one television set, bought 5. So the consumption began. And it did not stop. Obasanjo came, similar thing. He said, okay, Gowon said he didn't know how to use, his problem was how to use the money. Let me tell him how to use it. He organized Festac. And these things continued. Parents who grew up then, So we have to go back to history to find out exactly where we started and find out now that we are like this, what do we do? The only solution is that we begin to look inward. And it has to start from the Nigerian elite, you and I. The suit we are wearing, are they made in Aba? And I keep saying, there are 2 states that hold the economy of this nation. If we invest and pay attention to these 2 people, Anambra and Abia State. These are the 2 states that are like a refuge for Nigeria. And these are the 2 states that can grow. These are the 2 states that have the God-given this thing to really grow the economy. All they need is an opportunity to express themselves.
The last time we checked, Dr. Nweze, I thought myself was with common men, but you say we're now elite, and I
don't know how he elevated us.
Shema, you're the elite. You're the elite. And if you, I keep saying this, the former Belgian ambassador in the 90s to Nigeria once was asked, why don't Belgian businesses invest in Nigeria? He said, when the Nigerian elite, like you, Chamberlain, like Suleiman, and when you have the confidence,
that she's in Abuja,
and Mark in Abuja too, when you have the confidence to invest in Nigeria, then others will. Dangote has the confidence to invest in Nigeria.
Let's even take that a little further, because we have a Minister of Trade and Investment. We have manufacturers. A lot of them in this country talk about one challenge or the other that they face, and these are the things that are supposed to be addressed. So what can we then say? Because do you see that engagement going on between ministers, because they're there to address these problems, and local manufacturers to find out what are your challenges, what do we need to do to solve them?
Well, there's a disconnect between these people. Okay, I remember one of the stakeholders in manufacturing, and I think he does tomatoes, tomato paste and all that. And I had a challenge, and I was reading him how he was invited by the Minister of Trade, and just to stamp on what the Chinese, the imports. There's so much corruption going on. So, but the point is that, starting from the president, has he called his ministers to share his vision? Does he have a vision for this nation, how to move this nation forward?
They have minutes every time.
They have meetings. He has not done a good job at salesman's job. He's selling this vision to them.
Would it be him or the ministers to execute his project or his vision?
It's only when you buy into that, you have to sell. Chamberlain, you soon get married, thank God. You're selling this thing to the girl. If she doesn't buy into your own vision, how is she going to marry you? So that is the point.
When we look at ministers, because if you look to many of these ministers, smart, intelligent people that they've achieved in their own right, but many of them also started, they were talking about their plans, they were talking about their programs, how they needed to execute and fulfill the yearnings of Nigerians, implemented the president's vision. But all of a sudden, many of them have gone quiet. Science and tech. What do you think is going on?
Well, it's good that you brought that issue up, because again, reading the body language of the president as a leader, because if you have a leader that may not be interested, you may have good ideas. Okay, keep that one first. Let's face this one. The leader has his own personal agenda, but if the agenda, his own personal vision, does not align to the national bigger picture, other ministers too, they're supposed to synchronize everything. Everybody working towards achieving the national vision, which is the president's vision. But it's not so. Take, for instance, last time I was in Abuja about a week ago, I was told that only 6 ministries have received their budget.
Only 6?
Only 6. Okay?
How long ago was this?
This was about 2 weeks. I was reliably told. Because the science and tech, for instance, that is the ministry that holds the key to Nigeria's future. Because the future of Nigeria is not in oil and gas. It's science, engineering, technology. But if you look at the budget of that ministry, it's a paltry sum. And then you now look, because that ministry affects every other ministry. If you're talking of power, they're the ones to bring up something that will generate, not importing the machinery required to generate power, but to manufacture these things inside within Nigeria. Now, they have not even received their own budget allocation. The science, as of 2 weeks ago, Science and Tech Ministry. And I'm saying this, look, if Nigeria, if we are serious, our leaders are serious in really moving this nation forward, we should be looking at that science and education, that ministry, and then begin to look at how
Dr.
can we
Nweze,
get... Yeah, go ahead.
I want to go back to where Sulaiman, left off from in terms of going back to the states, because, you were talking about how the states are not thinking. Some people will say that, really, how much thinking can states do? You've talked about Anambra State, for instance, and some people say that there was at least a healthy savings that Anambra could draw from to build upon. For a lot of these states, they're at ground zero right now. What would be your suggestion to the states who find themselves in such a difficult situation?
They need to come up with a strategy, because in every state you find that there are some natural endowments, factor endowments, where they can draw from to begin to attract investment in this. And I keep telling them. Before, I don't know, one of these TV stations, I mentioned that what this government generally need is to kind of get Nigerians that have international clout to begin to attract investment. Some international investors foreign investors, they may not listen to this government. They need individuals they can. It happened in China when the likes of the Nigerian entrepreneurs, Dangotes and Lumelus and all these big shots travel to China, how the Chinese businesses welcome them. And again, look at what Ambode did in Lagos. The smart city. Maybe he listened to the advice I gave the government, and he said, "Look," he called one of the prominent Nigerians that has international clout to take the lead. He was the one that introduced Ambode and his government to the government of Dubai, and this is what we're talking about. What the state needs is a thing. They should put on their thinking hats. There are so much endowments within the state they can look at. Ebonyi State, for instance, rice alone can really unleash the economy of Ebonyi State. The value chain of rice. And I said that when I become governor, I have things that can even generate my own power from the value chain of rice alone. So you find that the state needs to, there's no state in Nigeria that does not have one factor endowment or the other. All they need to do is look at it, attract investment, working with the science and tech and all that to build up local technology to mine what God has given each state.
All right. Dr. Austin Nweze, appreciate your coming on this morning.
Yeah.